Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Sangat Ji, welcome to Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Sangat Ji, welcome to another talk on the Mata Circle Trust Instagram page. Hopefully we do well. The other talk speakers have been absolutely amazing and set the bar quite high. So we will try our best.
Thank you for giving us an opportunity to share our story. We, this is Harjit Singh and Harminder Kaur. We got married in 2000 in the millennium.
Yep. Like most people, I think we were from a typical Punjabi background. I think Harminder's family were a bit more into Sikhi than we were. I was definitely from a traditional Punjabi background. I think.
So growing up, I've always been blessed with living within a joint family. I've always had two mums, my mum and my dai. I've always called my dai my mum and my dad and my dai is always my second dad. So we've been blessed. When we were younger, we used to live together in one house until families grew, until we couldn't. But during that time, we used to sit together and do bath together. And my dad always used to do Rana Sahib together and sing shabads with the kids. So I guess the inspiration towards Sikhi started right from the day go within my family.
I mean, with us as children, my father was an active member of International Sikh Federation at Gurukara here at Park Avenue and Havelock Road in the 80s. So we went Gurdwara a lot, but I think a bit of a clash of Punjabi culture, Punjabism and Sikhism is the best way to describe it, where they were very integrated and we weren't taught how the two are separate in a way. So I spent a lot of my childhood at in Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj's house. Spent a lot of my childhood playing there. A lot of my friends were from there. I think that was part of my early start of my journey. Even though I didn't completely understand Sikhi at that point, it was one of the key moments in my life, having unlimited darshan of Guru Sikhs and Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj.
I think one thing that we can both agree on, it's not always the case, is that we were both blessed with having Sikhi in our lives, but we just didn't understand it or the importance of it or the value of it. So
it's one of those things where you start to appreciate something when you don't get it. I think like a lot of people probably with this coronavirus that's going on at the moment, where we had unlimited darshan of Maharaj, and now all of a sudden we're all restricted to our houses and we can't go to the Gurukara because we're not allowed to gather because the government says so. And you really appreciate what you had and what you don't have now.
So back to our journey. So we got married in 2000. I'm originally from Leicester. Moved to London in 2000, July 2000. We've both got big families. Harjit's one brother and three sisters, and I'm the same. So
it's I mean, we were like traditionally we were introduced through the old-fashioned way of Virtual which typical arranged marriage is the right thing. But I think in our case it worked well. We obviously, like any married couple, you have your moments where you disagree, but we work through our problems and our journey in Sikhi. I mean,
so I think the next part would be we were blessed with our first child, Gurjeevan Singh, in 2002, November 2002.
Yeah.
And then Guru Karan Singh, July 2008, and July 2005. and Harsimran in December 2014. So we have 3 children, and to be honest, they are probably, we don't like saying this very often, not to them anyway, but they are our biggest inspirations to this way, because
100%.
they have probably pulled Sangat towards us more than we can even say or
It is. I mean,
describe.
I think we're very blessed, as in we've always had Sangat around us, and even before we got married. But once again, it comes down to the basis that you didn't appreciate it, you didn't understand it. As children, for example, Gurjeevan arrived in our lives. I had a typical Punjabi upbringing, as in only son of the family, 3 daughters. I was waiting on hand and foot. I was a sport, I won't say it very often, spoiled little brat. But when Gurjeevan was born, I said to myself, I don't want that for my son. I want him to be independent. I want him to be respectful. I want him to understand equality. These were steps that we were just starting in our journey within Sikhi. I think it sort of had a little bit of a push when Gurjeevan arrived in our lives. It's quite weird. Like when we went to name Gurjeevan Singh, we actually had Gurjeevan Singh as a name in our minds from before he was born. And I said to Harminder, I said, look, Gurjeevan Singh is a really nice name. Let's name him that. Let's see what Maharaj has planned for us. And Guru Garge, we got Hukamnama, and Guruti Maharaj blessed us. Actually, that Guruti Maharaj had planned for everything. Maharaj blessed us with a Gagga, and I remember standing behind the Granthi, listening to the Hukamnama, and realised it was a Gagga, and I sort of like my eyes lit up, and I looked towards Harminder, and she instantly knew that it was a letter that we were looking for. And also we named him Gurjeevan, and your focus as a parent changes, especially the arrival of a child, and you want him to experience everything you did, but
better,
yeah,
much better. And I think now is a perfect opportunity to do that, because the next generation have had to step up. We've always relied on our elders to run the kitchens of Gurdwara and do all the seva, and we just go up and lap it all up. But now, because of the COVID regulations and everything, they're having to stay in, and it's given us, as the next generation, an opportunity to step up. And I think our opportunity is only going to inspire the next generation, i.e. our kids, even more. And that's one thing that we have, I think, since we've been blessed with doing seva of any form. And I think the initial start of that would go back to starting with SWAT back in 2009. It's always increased with.
But it's funny though, we've never asked for the seva. Maharaj has always blessed us with it, and
It's Johnny John, isn't it?
It's just amazing where I firstly got involved with SWAT, with the youth clubs that are run around the country, and through there we got Sangat, then
the youth clubs and the homeless seva. And I think the homeless seva is what kind of brought the seva to us as a family,
100%.
because it was happening on our doorstep, literally, and we would drive past them feeding the homeless guys that were from India living under a bridge near us, and we didn't think anything of it. And we were one of those that would sit there and say, oh God, why don't they just go back home, or why are they not working, why are they not living, why are they doing drugs and everything. And it wasn't and it was a very, very good sister of ours, Jazz, who actually wanted to go and do the seva, and she asked Harj to come with her because she didn't want to go on her own.
I remember that.
And it's that's what it took for us to go out there. And it was that first time we went out there, we realised that, hang on, these guys are not here by choice. They actually have no other choice but to be here. And if they're on drugs or if they're on alcohol or anything like that, it's because they can't see any other way. And that was our first step into doing any form of seva outside of our houses.
See, but once again, it's just being my younger sister, my cousin's sister, she, like Harminder said, it was actually quite weird because once again, Malaj has ways of, Malaj's got a plan for all of us, but we don't see it. We surely don't understand it. And I remember Jazz phoned me up and said, "Baji, I'm going out to feed the homeless with SWAT. Do you want to come?" And I was like, "Kade jana hai? Sharabi hai, drug khande hai. Murke pendanu kade nahi jande?" You know. And then she was quite persistent, and it was quite funny. She said to me, "No, Baji, I'm coming to get you." I said, "No, don't come and get me. I'm not going." And I was, it's a waste of time. And then she came, and I was on the sofa watching TV, and she goes, "Baji, I'm going to come to get you. I'm not leaving until you come with me." And I was like, "Oh, man, all right, okay, all right, I'll come." And the funny thing was, we went out. I went with her. She got scared when she got there because obviously it's quite a frightening experience as well, seeing these homeless people, especially they're all up on it as well. She stayed in the car. She got so terrified she didn't get out of the car, and I got to do the seva. And it's funny because that seva, I see it now that Maharaj wanted us to do it, but used her as the tool to get us out to do it. And from that moment, I don't think we never looked back, did we? No. It's been since 2009, and to date we've been doing the seva.
We've been going out with them once a month, and just doing our bit really, which is nothing. And to be honest with you, when we go out, we feel that we get back way more than what we're giving, because who are we to give anything? No. We've had instances where you've got so much food laid out, and there's all sorts of people in the queue, and some are very well dressed and some are not at all, and you have to stand there and not judge anybody that's standing there, because who are we to judge? It's Guruji's langar and it's being given out to Guruji's Sangat. That's the way to look at it. And there was one instance where there was a very well dressed man. He literally walked up and down the whole food table, one end to the other, 2 or 3 times. And then he came up to me and said, "What do you call this? This isn't food. What type of food is this?" He just wasn't impressed with all the food that was on the table, and we said, "We're sorry." And he went off, and just as he went off, another van pulled up, and they were giving out, it was a different organisation, and they were giving out chicken jol and stuff like that. And then he actually bought a double of chicken and jol to my face, and he said, "This is what you call food, not what you guys are giving out." I was like, "Okay, that's fine. Sorry that we couldn't serve you." And he went off, and on the same day as we were finishing off, literally there was nothing left on this table. The patille of pasta and everything was empty. Literally there was nothing, from our eyes there was nothing left. And along comes this guy on a bike. He's late. He's realised he's late, and he's missed all the hot food and all the food altogether, not just hot food. And he we just had the patilla to put away, and he's like, "Shall I do you mind if I have a look inside?" And I was like, "But it's empty. I'm really sorry, but it is empty." And he's like, "If you don't mind, I'll just have a look inside." So we pulled the lid off, and he had a look. To our eyes, it's empty. So he says, "Can I have a spoon, please?" So we gave him a spoon, and he literally cleaned the whole sides, all the sides of the whatever bits were left on the inside of the patilla, and filled his palm with the pasta, what he could see. And he rode off, and he said, "See, told you there was plenty for me," and he went off. And I was just another lesson, for some, a little bit is everything. Mm-hmm. And through doing the seva, we've learned so much, that just be so grateful. We've got so much, we just actually don't even understand how much Guruji has given us. He's given us way more than we need, but we don't understand that, and we always look for the materialistic things. And it's through the seva and through the Sangat where we've started to come to realise it's not that. Those things actually don't matter. Mm. So Harjit's mum was very ill for a number of years, and she passed away last year. She was on dialysis for over 14 years, and we were blessed to be able to do her seva and have her in the house. Thanks to her, the kids learned Punjabi because she didn't know English, so they had to speak with her in Punjabi, and the rest of us just spoke English because you do. And thanks to all of these little things, I think we've we're starting to get a bigger understanding of what life is all about.
I think so. I think when we look at things with negativity, our eyes, our perception always is negative. Why has this happened? Why has this happened? Now we look at COVID-19, for example, current day. We're looking at this is bad. We're all stuck at home, but through this COVID-19, the positives are that you're spending time with the family. You're together. If you're even more blessed, you're jumping naam together. You're getting to do seva of your neighbours, bazargs that can't go out and do shopping for themselves or get anything for themselves. Maharaj is blessing you with the opportunity to do that seva. With Mum was ill, like Harminder said, for 14 years. And I strongly believe that if Mum was fit and well, she would have carried on with her stuff and we would have carried on with our stuff. Maybe cross paths when she's going to work and I'm coming home or something like that. But when she fell ill, she was at home with us constantly. And we were blessed to do 14 years of seva with my mum, which I don't think if everything had been normal, we would have done.
And again, you don't understand the importance of that when you're going through it, because on a daily basis, things sometimes are not easy. And you don't understand the bigger picture. It's now that she's not with us that we understand.
It was like when Mum passed away, the day she passed away. I remember me and Harminder sitting in the living room. We come back from the hospital and it was like the core, the heart of the house had been removed. We were looking at the ceilings and looking all over the place. What do we do now? And I remember my sister phoning us one weekend and said to us, "When you guys come over?" And we just picked up our bags and we went, "All right, let's go." We went over to my sister's. Halfway down the journey, we went, "This doesn't feel right." We've never been able to leave the house without making sure Mum was okay or something, if someone was at home with her. But this is all, once again, seva that Maharaj blessed us with, that we were able to do. And I don't think we would have done it when we don't do any other way. It's how you look at things, Sangatji. I mean, you can put a negative spin on everything. This COVID-19, the world has put a negative spin on everything, and it's really sad that people have lost their lives in it. But then look at what you're appreciating, that you're not getting Maharaj's darshan. You're appreciating the time you're spending with your family. I still work because I'm classed as a key worker. Harminder still works from home, but she's and I drive back from work and I see families out for walks. I see couples riding bikes, kids with their parents, stuff we wouldn't have done otherwise without this thing. So I mean, what I'm trying to say is Maharaj's plans for everything. And I mean, in our Sikhi journey, I think after Jivan was born, Kaur and Harjit were born, I think Jagraj played a big part at that point in our lives as well, through basis of Sikhi.
Huge.
Massive, I think massive.
A diamond. Big massive diamond. I think the amount of inspiration he's given to people, not just whilst he was here, but in his absence as well.
Yeah.
It's undescribable. We've been blessed with Maharaj's Kirpa when Jagraj Baji got ill. Myself and Prabhu and Kaur were having a conversation about Baji and his illness, and that he's got so much Kirpa on him, and yet he's suffering from such a horrible illness as well. Like, what hope do we have? We have no hope. And from that conversation came that we need to up our game a little bit. It was just the two of us having this conversation. And from there came Thursday Simran. So we actually sat and thought about, okay, we need to do something. We need to do it in Sangat form. And we went through all the days. Monday won't work, Tuesday kids do this, Wednesday I can't do, Friday's weekend, Saturday, Sunday weekend. And the best day of the week was Thursday. So from there came Thursday Simran. I think this was back in 2016.
Notice how she's doing all the dates, because I'm used to remembering all the dates.
I think it was November 2016. At the same time, I also had a conversation at the Gurdwara with some of my female Sangat, we were sitting at the Godara, and then after the Godara we just went to a local restaurant just for a cup of coffee and a chat, and we were sitting there thinking, oh, it's a shame that we can't have these conversations at the Godara, but it would be seen as you're just sitting around doing nothing. So from that came two things really from Thursday Simran. We were blessed with Thursday Simran, which initially was just the people that lived in this house, probably her dad, and that was it. And from that, from word of mouth, mine was just blessed with so much Sangat and the ongoing Thursday Simran every Thursday.
Getting possibly 3 years now, isn't it?
Yeah, Amaraji. It's actually made us realise how big the Khalsa family is, and we say that now we're part of the Khalsa, but to have the Sangat constantly, I mean, through Mum's illness, through the kids, everybody, they had so much support from family, from friends, from Sangat, that we were just like mind blown with how big this family is. And it's not just about being a big family, it's about how caring and loving and willing to just help in any way, shape or form. And that's another realization that we are part of something so big that we forget that. We sit in these houses which we really look after and want to maintain and make them bigger and everything, but at the end of the day, when Mum passed away, we learned it doesn't matter, none of that matters. She's gone and it's all still here, and who knows when that's going to happen to us too. So time to change the focus. It's
I mean, that through our Thursday Simran program, it's amazing how it's grown something, you know, how it's helped us and more importantly helped our children grow. When we first started, it was quite uniquely going back to what I said originally. Mine has plans and we don't see them. We started Simran, it's like Harminder said, it was literally sheer Sajjane Siasi, our kids, us, Bablin Kaur, her dad, her sister. It grew, it got bigger and bigger. Then Sukhdeep Singh from Basics was part of our Sangha at that point. He used to come to Thursday Simran as well. And by someone said to us one day, they said, we do Simran, let's do Shastra, Maharaj Darshan, Shastra Nahi Galan. So we did a Bashai and placed Maharaj Shastra, and we basically saw Maharaj do a Shastra. And then someone said to us, you should do an Avdas. So we expanded to doing an Avdas. Then another thing said to us.
So that shows how we still don't, but at that point we knew even less, like, let's sit down and do Simran. Okay, let's sit down and do Simran. But Maharaj blessed us with so many beautiful souls that each one in their own way has helped progress the Sangat and the Simran. So there's been, literally we just used to sit for an hour and do Simran, that was it. Then we started doing Langar, and then we started doing Bhog to Langar, and then we started making Prashad, started doing Ardas, and now we do Prakash of Senchi Sahib. There's been constant sevas that have been growing, and with that growth has come the sevadars as well. So the Sangat that just come in and do whatever needs to be done.
It's amazing. The funniest thing, Sangaji, a lot of the youngsters up on here, like Dilraj Singh, you've seen on Mata Semple do a talk. Vikram Singh, you haven't met. So many other youngsters, Amdeep Singh, that I can't mention, but they brought so much, and when there's Gurupurabs happening, they'll turn around. And I remember once we did a 24-hour Japji Psalm, didn't we, at home, and it was initiated by
the Sangat, by the kids,
by
the next generation. Yeah. And just before the lockdown started, it was like, okay, we need to do something, and we did a 24-hour job as well. Just literally a week before, we were wondering which day to do it, and everyone said, let's just do it, and we did. With Sangat, everyone came in and did whatever they could, whenever they could, and literally a few days later, lockdown started. So had not happened when it did, thanks to the children and their inspiration. it's just, these are all examples of how the next generation is just so inspirational, and they're the ones that are carrying us. We literally don't know much at all.
It's quite funny. We in our journey in Sikhi, I'm sure you relate to this. We went to watch Charles Hamzan, didn't we? We were blessed to go to the premiere in London with Damso Records, and we went to watch it, and we're sitting there, and it was one of the most emotional.
We literally cried out. We were late, so the only seats that we could get were right at the front, which was kind of good because we were crying the whole way through. And usually when you go to movies, and if you're crying, you just want to like no one to see you. So we were right at the front, and we cried the whole way through because it was the first time where you visually could understand our history.
To see a Saki unfold in front of you was an amazing experience. I mean, obviously all of us have heard the Saki of Jal Sahibzade, the Qurbaniya that were given by the Singhs at that time. But to see it unfold in front of your eyes was a completely mind-blowing experience, and I'm sure everybody that's listening will probably relate to that as well. I remember when we left the screening, the producer Bajwa, was it?
Yeah.
I think he was outside, and I was one of the first people out the door, and he's put his hand out to shake my hand as I'm leaving, and I went, forget a handshake, Bajwa, I gave him the biggest hug in the world, because that movie was a turning point in our family's lives.
It was the realization that Guru Gobind Singh Ji said, "Janwe to kya hua jeevat ke hazar," and within those hazar, they counted us. That's how blessed we were. Yeah. That's how blessed we felt, and it's after that we were blessed with Amrit.
We went and watched the movie 4 or 5 times afterwards, didn't we?
Yeah, 2014 that movie was released. In 2015, we went to the Seek to Inspire camp as well. And met such beautiful, amazing Sangat. That was our first time going to any camp
as a family as well.
As a family,
yeah.
And it was just all of these things happened around the same time, but they were a big turning point. After that camp, we were blessed with Amrit that year in November when it was Guru Nanak Dev Ji's Gurpurb, and it was just brilliant.
It was a life-changing moment for us, definitely.
I went to, so the lead up to the date of being blessed with Amrit, I had thought in my head about a month before I'll start wearing a patka, or I need to cover my head while I need to do something. And about a week before, I still hadn't done it because I didn't know how to take that step. I knew in my head it's what I wanted to do, but I didn't know how to physically do it. So a week up to, I was like, okay, got to do it. So I hadn't spoken to anybody at work about my Sikhi journey or anything about Sikhi full stop. And so I rock up at work on a Monday with a patka on my head, and I'm keeping my head down because I didn't really know how to have a conversation about why I'm changing. And for me to be sitting here and even having this conversation is something I'm just not good at. I'd rather just put my head down and get on with things. But so I just sat there and I put my head down, and then my boss, who open plan office, sat next to me, and he said, "Oh, you're wearing a hat today," and I was like, "Oh, it's not a hat, it's a patka." That was the conversation, and then he brought it up again a bit later. I said, "It's not called a hat." I said, "No, it's not called a hat, it's called a patka." And he said, "Okay, why are you wearing that then?" So I told him that on the weekend, I'll be blessed with Amrit, and he was like, "What is that?" And I was like, "It's like when you guys, when you're born and you go for christening. This is, we're going to be, me and my husband are going to be blessed with Amrit this weekend." And he was like, "But so if it's like christening, then why have you left it so late? If it's something that you're supposed to do when you're a child." And I said, "Not necessarily." I said, "If you're blessed to have it as a child, then brilliant. But for us, we're being blessed because we're now getting the understanding of why we want to do it and what we're doing it for, and the meaning of life and everything." And he was just so blown away. So the following day, and there was a few other people who were just like constantly coming up to me saying, "Are you alright? Are you ill or anything?" And I was like, no, I'm fine. And that made me realise that talking about it is actually going to spread the message of Sikhi, and if we don't do it, then who's going to do it? So the following day, I stood and talked to quite a lot of my colleagues and told them about my journey. So the following week, after being blessed with Ahmed, my sister and us two were blessed all at the same time here at Park Avenue Gurdwara, and then I went to work with a whole load of basics of Sikhi leaflets. I gathered a crowd, I took samosa and everything, and I celebrated with them, and it was beautiful because they were so inspired by reading this leaflet, the 3 facts leaflet.
Well, I think
my boss, who is 100% doesn't know much about any other faith apart from the way they live their life, and he read that leaflet, he handed it back to me, and he said, if most of the world followed what's written in this leaflet, I think we'd be in a very good place. And I was like, wow, just by reading a leaflet, he's made that assumption. There's so much that we can do.
It is, and it's just, I think for Harminder, it was stepping out of her comfort zone, Sangaji, and engaging. I'm known as a guppy. I'll speak forever. But for her, it was a challenging thing to do, to talk to people about something that she was very passionate about, but it was hard to get the message across. And simple things like, it sounds funny to do a gathering with samosa, but Gauri loves samosa.
Everybody loves samosa.
And it worked. They understood, they appreciated what she was, the steps she was taking, had a brief understanding of the path she was on, and they were quite respectful, I think, weren't they?
Yeah, they are. They've been. So then, when I was blessed with Ahmed, then I was wearing the badgarb. I knew that I wanted to wear the style. I just didn't know how to at that point. So I practiced, and then the following year in May, I rocked up at work with the style on, and it happened to be a very windy day. And one of my friends, her hair was blowing all over the place, and she goes, "Oh, look at my hair." And I was like, "I don't have that problem." And she's like, "I think I need to wear one of those too." So it was just kind of really good because we were able to connect and talk and even laugh together about things, rather than just like believing that people don't understand, but then also understanding that we're the ones that need to help them understand if they've not got that knowledge, and we're not willing to stand up and help them understand why we make any changes. Whether they want to take it on board or not is entirely up to them. But yeah. Yeah,
and then for me the change was, I used to wear traditional, only way I can describe it is a jagged type of bug, and then went to wearing a damalla. And funny enough, it was for my older son Rajiv, and he started wearing a damalla, and instead of me teaching him how to tie a damalla, he taught me how to tie a damalla. And it's quite funny how even though I was wearing a dastard before, may it be a dastard that was, let's say, introduced by the British at that point, I still blended in with everybody around me. Where when I'm now wearing a damalla, I stand out. I'm noticed. Well, because you're quite big anyway, I'm noticed anyway. But I was noticed more because of my damalla, and my actions didn't just reflect me, reflected my sangat, my pant, my guru. Made me more cautious about how I behaved in public. I remember once where I was riding to work, and I was on my bike and I got knocked off a set of traffic lights by a motorist who turned in front of me, and I fell on the floor. And first thing that happened, I sort of grabbed my head to make sure my dastard is in place. And I got up and I'm smiling and I'm laughing because my damalla stayed perfectly where it was. And I thought to myself, if I was wearing my old type of bug, that would have been halfway to work before I even got up. And the guy was looking at me like weirdly, like, I've just run you over and you're laughing. And then it kicked off and he started going, "Oh, you cut me up, you did this, you did that, it's your fault." And I said, "Mate, you cut me up." I said, "It's not my fault." And he carried on having a go. And I thought, you know what, I'm not going to get involved in this. I said, I'm representing something more than just me. My behaviour represents something more than just me. And I said to him, I said, look, it's not a problem. What's happened to your car? He said, my light's broken at the back. And I said, don't worry, I'll buy you a light, I'll fix it for you. And he goes, how do I know you're going to fix it for me? I said, well, I will fix it for you. I said, I'm going to fix it for you. I'm a Sikh. I'm a man of my word. I will fix it for you. And it's quite funny. Even the bike I owned at that point, I got that from complaining and whinging at Halfords because the service was so poor. They gave me a £400 bike for like £200. So whoever used to ask me and say, oh wow, your bike looks nice, I used to go, yeah, I got £200 off it, you know, look how much money I saved. It's a great bike, it's a wicked bike. Miles teaches you lessons in everything. I got knocked off that bike and the bike got damaged, and with regards to the Gora, he left reluctantly, and I bought a light. Me and my older son went back to his house and we fitted the light, and about half an hour later I get a text message. His wife's told him that Mr. Singh came round, he fitted the light, and the text message didn't read thank you Harjit Singh for fixing my bike. It said thank you Mr. Singh for fixing my light. And I realised that had my actions been the other way around, his image of Guru's Panth and Guru Singh's would have been such a negative image that the damage that would have been done at that point would have been unreversible. But by just showing a bit of kindness and understanding, he's walked away really positive, and his experience with the Khalsa was a good experience. But then back to the lesson Maharaj wanted to teach me about Hankar and being a bit Jamaliya as well. I picked up my bike and I'm rolling it down the road, and I bump into my neighbour, who's a BT engineer. And he says to me, he goes, well, Harj, he goes, what's happened? I said, oh, I just got knocked off my bike, mate. And he goes, do you want me to take it home for you? I said, oh, that'd be brilliant if you could. I'll catch a bus to work. Or bike leg, I got to work and did my day's work, came home, knocked on his door and said, Jerry, you got my bike? He goes, I've dropped you off at your house, mate. So I went, okay. So I went home and said to the kids, kids, has Jerry dropped off a bike to you? And they went, no, Dad, he hasn't. So I went back, I said, Jerry, kids haven't seen the bike. Where did you leave it? He goes, well, I knocked on your door and you weren't home, so I left you outside. Somebody only went and nicked the blooming bike, didn't they? The bike got nicked, and I then had to pay £400 to buy a new bike at full price. And thankfully I still got that one. But that's what I was teaching you, that these lessons, these
nothing's for free. Yeah. We're always looking for bargains and to save a penny here and there, but we want to give, the lesson is give more than what you receive. That's where the fun's at. It
is, and we've met God Sikhs through our journey that told us Sakya.
And taught us so much, even and it's that next generation. We have learnt so much from Probably and Kaur, Piwi,
Hobbs, PBL,
They're from everybody, all the children of Neet Kaur, Amit Kaur, who does the Simran on Thursdays. They're just so amazing. They just come in and they get on with the things that I still to this day can't sit and I worry about who's watching and am I going to say it right and all of this sort of stuff, but they just come in and get on with it, and they've got so much confidence, and it's so inspiring to see the next generation full of confidence. It's just so exciting. Now where are they going to take the next level of Sikhi for?
We've found that Sangat is such a key part of your Sikhi Jeevan. They're the ones that keep you grounded. They're the ones that hold you up when you need to be held up. When Mum passed away, my sisters were with me the whole time, and it was a hard time, and I don't think I would have made it through without them. But then there were other sisters that weren't my blood sisters that were here supporting us. There were the young men and Bibiyan that were coming here and supporting the children. And there was no blood tie, there was no reason they had to be here, but it was that Sangat Pyar, that Panth, that Maharaj's, Gursikhs. We stick together through thick and through thin.
But just going back to just the kids when they were younger as well, I think that the family, like Harjit's sisters, we all used to live together. and my family as well, we used to visit them regularly, but they've played a massive part in the confidence our children have. If they are confident, it's because they were brought up in a joint family, and they had different perspectives of learning from different people. We all never agreed on something, but one thing I can say for sure is you make up, you break up, you make up, you break up. But your family, in families, it's normal. Children get on each other's nerves. You get over it, you carry on.
We've never treated kids within our family as our kids and their kids, and I think even it's funny. You think this is going to be fun, but even our Sangat family.
Definitely, 100%.
The kids that come here, they're our kids, and if I tell one of the children off, apparently I'm quite scary. I don't know where they got that from, but if I tell one of the kids off, other parents don't get involved. You've been told off. That's it. We see each other's children as our children. We've got no doubt if the kids go over to one of the other Sangat's houses, we've got no doubt that our children aren't safe and they're not going to be looked after. It's an amazing feeling, Sangatji. I think trying to explain it in words does it an injustice.
The same for the parents as well. We've found Mother Rubin, so many blessed souls that have come here and loved us when we're sad or down, and when you just want that grown up. It doesn't matter how old you get, you still want a grown up who you can ask, what should we do, how should we do this? And Mara just blessed us, and he's blessed all of us. We just have to open our eyes and see that every single soul that we've got in our lives right now, they're all a blessing. And just thank Waiguru so much that we've got Thursday Simran and the Sangat and Basics and Seek to Inspire and all these Jathbandis and everyone that's trying their best. It's just so amazing, because if they didn't exist, then I would worry about where we would be today. But thanks to all the Prachar, everything, especially now during lockdown, there's constant Prachar, there's something on Basics, Seek to Inspire, so many channels, TV, there's just so much right now that the kids could be picking up and learning. And we might not be in physical Sangat together, but the Sangat Pyar is still there and the learning is still there. It's
quite funny how, Sudeep Singh from Basics, as busy as he is, and he's one Sikh that's immensely busy. He still made time. He'd make time to phone the kids up and check in on them. If Basics were doing a program at the Guru Kar, or after the Katha and the Q&A, they wanted to do Simran, they'd phone the kids up. He would come pick up the kids and take them with him. These things make such a difference. Harjit Singh, when they moved to London and they started blessing us with the darshan and katha here at the house on Thursday Simran. And this is what I mean, so Thursday Simran exploded. I mean, I can't explain to you how much it exploded. And through Harjit Singh, we got to meet the other Singhs and Singh and Leicester Sangat, which plays such a key part in our lives and the kids' lives.
So we were, in 2017, I was in Leicester. I think it was actually Mother's Day on the day, and I'm not sure why these guys were not with me, but they went. And there was a Sukhmi Sahbat at Mum and Dad's house, and there was a lot of the Leicester Sangat there that I'd never met before. Well, what a blessing that was. That was my first encounter with the Leicester Sangat, the Mother Sahib Kaur Educational Trust. Most of them do seva for this, and wow, that changed. That year was so amazing. 2017, my sister was getting married in India at Seva Sahib Gurdwara, and so Harj was unable to go because he was at home with Mum, but myself and the kids went, and we were so blessed to spend 2 weeks, I think, with Sangat, and that was the next explosion.
It is. See, it all comes back to our understanding of what Malad has got planned for us. We have no inkling. It's quite funny. Baban Singh and Sukhmi Benji went to India at the same time, and Baban Singh nicknamed me Haji Bear.
So everyone knew Harj as Haji Bear, even though they hadn't met.
No, and I think we met Harjit Singh at the Seek to Inspire camp, didn't we? The very first time. He was one of the talkers at one of the class sessions, and Baji told me afterwards, he goes, Baban kept going, Haji Bear, Haji Bear, Haji Bear. He goes, who is this Haji Bear? And Baban took a picture out on his phone and said, this is Haji Bear. And Baji looked at the picture and went, I know that Singh, I've met him before. We met him at the Seek to Inspire camp. And life took such a twist that a person that we met at Sikh camp and we spoke to very briefly would become such an integral part of our life, our Jeevan, our children, our family, our society. Benji, Sareen Benji's mum here.
So much love she gives us. We're so blessed. Literally.
All becomes such a big part of our lives. I couldn't see our lives without it.
No, the biggest lesson that we've learned today is that materialistic things are not going to go with us, and that as much pyar and sangat, seva, simran that we can do it, and we're not doing it. That's the amazing thing. You know, the kids are doing it. We're just taking laha by being their parents.
We're on the ride for free.
But that's how Vyant Maharaji are. They're just, you know, they're so giving, and it's like somebody said to me, I can't remember who it was, but if your parent scolds you or tells you off, it's only short-lived. Very soon after, you know, there's hugs and you forget all about it. And that, imagine that times God knows what from Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj. If you could physically imagine that they're there constantly forgiving you and not even seeing the galti and the mistakes that we make, it's unimaginable, really, and you find it hard to believe, but it's happening on a daily basis.
I think a lot of people get scared that they're going to make mistakes. And to be honest with you, we were terrified. Even when we were about to take our path and take the first step. See, this is the other misconception. We were always taught that Amrit was your end goal. And then we realised through Sangat and through Darshan and that it's your first step. It's not nowhere near the last step. It's the first step.
I think that's one thing that we've definitely realised. As growing up, it always felt like being blessed, or what you would hear would be being blessed with Amrit is like, that's it, you've made it, you've done it. But it's totally not. It's totally the other way. It's like you don't know where the steps are going to end, but just keep taking one and hope that it's getting you closer to Maharaj in this life or next life, however long it takes, however many steps it takes. Just hope and wish that, you know, Maharaj, you just hope every single step is coming towards you, be it slowly, be it fast, whatever, however you wish.
It's a roller coaster or a journey, Sangatji, full of highs, amazing highs, and really low points as well, where you do ask questions of yourself, and I think you ask questions of, I mean, remember when Dad passed away, this is when I wasn't even in the Sikhi. I was 21, roughly, I think. So once again, really bad with dates. And when Dad passed away, I was like, why? Why have you done this? It's my time to go out with my friends. It's my time to have fun. It was my time to go out and about, come home late at night. My Vajra, my Sorch was completely not in the Sikhi format. It wasn't even, and that's bearing in mind that I grew up I literally spent my whole childhood in a Guruvar. But I was still a million miles away.
We just didn't understand it. Even I did. We were very blessed. When my mum was always, from whenever I could remember, she's always done her part and been towards Sikhi. But my dad came into Sikhi in 1989, I think it was. Basically, we had a house fire. We had just redone, my dad had just renovated the whole house from top to bottom. It was spick and span, very good, really nice. Everything was modern and up to date, and he'd done as much of it as he could with his own hands. And then one day we'd come home for lunch, myself, my sisters, my brother, my Dayaji's son, we all used to come home together. And so there was probably about 8 or 9 of us in the house, including our parents. And all of a sudden my dad shouted saying, "Come, get out, there's a fire." So we all went out, and for whatever reason, the house burnt to a crisp. Apart from the outer shell, there was nothing left. But that's when my dad kind of learnt that, hang on a minute, I could have literally lost everything that I had that day. Every single one of us made it out, no problem at all. There was not even a scratch on any single one of us. But the house was gone. But he knew the house could be rebuilt just like it had just been. And that's when my dad came into Sikh. When he did, then we were blessed to go to Nanak Sahib Gurdwara in Coventry. And we spent a lot of our childhood growing up there, just like Harjit saying he grew up at Park Avenue Gurdwara. So most of our childhood was growing up within Sangat. And there was Mahaprabhu there, Sant Baba Mia Singh Ji, and we were blessed to do their darshan, and it was beautiful. But again, the understanding of how important these beings were, we just didn't understand it back then, how we do now. So when we went to Sevawal Sahib, we were blessed to do darshan of Dr. Baba Karandeep Singh Ji and Baba Gurbaksh Singh Ji. And honestly, when we first met Prableen, she said, having a son in your life is like having a parent who's constantly holding your hand and guiding you. And that's exactly how we feel now that we've got some Babaji since we've been to Sevawal Sahib, and they've come here a couple of times.
So I never had that when I was a kid. I never had, apart from Sant Janel Singh Ji, in my life, due with the 84 stuff Dad was involved with, I never had interaction with Sangat that had Darshan and Mahapurush. I didn't really understand.
We read the Bani on a daily basis, but this just shows how we need to understand what we're reading as well. Because at the end of the Kirtan Soila, we say, Andar Jami Purkh Vedate Sardaman Ki Pure, Nanak Das Ehe Sukh Mange, Nuku Kar Santan Ki Ture. We ask for it every single day. We ask for Santan Di Tur every single day. And sometimes you're blessed with it and you don't actually understand that you're being given what you're asking for constantly. But we can't thank Vaiguruji enough for for being in their Sangat. And
I mean, how it works, Sangat is, I think Harminder's right in saying that the kids are a big key to where we are now. Me personally as well, the children play a very key part in my Sikhi Jivan, but very importantly for me, my Sikhi Jivan is Harminder. I think she keeps me in check and keeps me balanced. And I think that's a very key part in our relationship.
And I think just generally, as a family of 5, if you want to look at it that way, just as the biological family, husband, wife and children, that's Sangat right there. But we don't see it that way for some reason, because we all believe in our heads that going to the Gurdwara and sitting in the Bar Sahib is the way to get Sangat, and it absolutely is. But Sangat is wherever there's more than one of you sitting together, reading Bani or doing Vichar of Sikhi or Sant.
It is. I mean, the vibration of the Naam Simran with the Sangat when we're at our home here on Thursday Simran. It's hard to explain Sangat. You have to experience it. I'm sure most of you have been to Guru Gharh where you're sitting there, let's say on Villa, and Simran's happening, the door lights are turned off, and the whole Sangat's chanting together. That vibration and energy, that positive energy, is one of the biggest things. I mean, once maybe twice in 3 years, we weren't able to do Simran on a Thursday night at our house, and it was the most weirdest experience of our lives. The kids were like, "This don't feel right. This doesn't feel right." Even Sangat was phoning us saying, "This don't feel right." We're getting phone calls because of this COVID-19. We're not allowed to gather. The Sangat are saying, "Oh, we can't wait. We can't wait to come back to Simran. We can't wait to have Sangat come back, because the energy that's left in our house after everybody goes on a Thursday night."
It's not our house, it's Sangat's house.
Sangat's house, correction. See, I told you, she keeps me in check, see?
It is definitely Sangat, and I just want to mention about the kids as well. So Gurjeevan, when he was moving from year 6 to year 7, he was already over that holiday, the summer holiday, he learned how to tie his own dastar, do his own hair and everything, and he was so confident. I thought it was going to be you kind of hear that, oh my God, how are you going to make that transition from going to a guddi to the star? But that was the perfect time. So I would say to any other parents who, you know, you wonder when's the right time to transition from a guddi batka to the star. Whenever your child is confident, if it's before year 7, but definitely at the year 6, year 7 stage, because they're making a change
that
anyway.
Transition over.
So, and it's always easier to make a physical change when you're making a change anyway. So you're going to be in new Sangat already.
Yeah.
You're going to be having different children around you, so they don't know you. So we always worry about, oh, but what so-and-so say? But they actually don't really care.
No.
They're actually fine with however you look, whether it be your work colleagues, whether it be your school friends. So he made that very easy. He was very happy to, and he was very confident going to school with his dastar on. And he made it easy for Gurgaran. So Gurgaran did the same when he was year 6 to year 7. He transitioned. But with her Simran, she was probably the most inspiring one, because when I started wearing my dastar, she decided, maybe it was when I started wearing my batka, I can't remember, one or the other. She started wearing a batka just like that, going to, I think, probably year 3 or 4, I can't remember what year it was at school.
Primary school.
And I remember having a chat with her saying that it's not something that I want you to just put on and try and then leave it and try and whatever. It's something that if you want to do it, then you need to kind of stick by it, because it's very important, and that's the journey that as parents we would like you to take. And she was like, no, I want to tie batka, and she's transitioned to wearing the star from that day on. She never looked back. She's constantly worn her batka or now her dastar to school, and it's been, I think, like, that's what I'm saying, the next generation, they're just so inspiring, they're so confident, and I think we didn't have that confidence as we were growing up, probably because, you know, at school I was definitely bullied, and I remember...
I think the thing is, though, when we were growing up, our parents come into this country, they had to start from scratch and give us an existence. So they understood the working life, and they taught us how it was in the working life.
Language barrier as well, because they didn't speak English, so it was like a separate life at home and a separate life at school.
Then we went through school, so they dealt with the racism and bullying at work, we dealt with it at school, and we as parents now have a greater understanding of the work and school life that our children go through. So I think we're a lot more, especially with my parents, I definitely couldn't have an emotional chat with my dad, but you know, we can do that with our kids. Just quickly, I remember Gurjeevan, when he was in the primary school, he said once that he said to me, "Dad, I want to cut my hair," and I said, first reaction, to be honest with you, was a typical Punjabi parent reaction. It was a couple of swear words and a quick go at him, and then I took time to find out why, and it was our own kids that were taking the mick out of him at school for having long hair. And I just did a binti to Maharaj. I said, "Maharaj, please help us in this." And one day I picked him up from school and we were walking back home, and this guy walks past, and Musliman, he was in full jidda, the kurta pajama they wear, and he goes, "Sardar ji kaise ho, theek hai?" His brain started ticking instantly, Sangaji, and I knew something was going. And he looked up at me, he goes, "Dad, how did you know you're a Sardar?" And Maharaj answers all your questions for you. You just have to do a binti. You know, when I speak to Maharaj, when I have my own personal issues, my own personal battles, my own personal fights, I speak to him like I'd be speaking to my biological father. You know, Maharaj, look, this has happened today. Don't be scared, man. Harminder Singh, one of the things that I do say about basics, is one of the things that taught me to do that, to talk to Maharaj like, that Maharaj is your parent, your mother and father. I think we're getting close to the finishing time, so I think I'll probably carry on talking for ages.
Just want to say thank you very much for giving us an opportunity to sit and talk with you all. Definitely not worthy, but that's
100%.
that's how beyond Maharaj you are. When we think we're not worthy, they tell us that no, you are.
Yeah.
And you know, it's the next generation are so inspiring. And thank you to all the Sangat, Leicester, London, Thursday, Simran especially.
And find Sangat, Sangatji. Find Sangat, grab hold of it with both hands.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And you know, any Mahaprabhu that you have a connection with, build it. It's honestly
Yeah,
that feeling.